Hey, good afternoon. Well, good afternoon. I'm already in the afternoon mode. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's well today. Welcome to Streamtember. That's right, Streamtember. That's what I named this month because I have gone live every Tuesday and Thursday, every Tuesday and Thursday this month. And there's one more left. And I may have another one. It may go into October. I don't think so, though. I think next Tuesday actually will be probably my last of Streamtember, and I've enjoyed doing it. By the way, if you're brand new here, my name is Paul Turner from thediscipleproject.net, and welcome in. Thanks for being here. If you are interested in videos about youth ministry, about planning your youth meetings, retreats, how to be a good youth pastor, this might be the channel for you, so go ahead and consider subscribing. Now, today's going to be a little bit different because I am going to talk about, by the way, the title of this is about learning about curriculum and things like that. We'll get into that. But I'm also want to talk a little bit about the channel today and what it means in the sense of how it applies to youth ministry. I basically run my YouTube channel the way I run youth ministry. And so maybe this will be insightful. Maybe it'll just be me talking out of my head. Who knows? But the deal is, everything, as far as what I look at in youth ministry, is experimental, right? And I don't think a lot of times that we look at. I think we all want a sure answer to the questions of our whatever, right? Because that's what I've been doing every Tuesday and Thursday. I've been answering questions, and we all want a very sure answer, right? We want. Does this work? And if it does work, how do I do this? And what are the 5 steps to doing this? And the scary part of youth ministry is that everything is experimental in a way. Yeah, we have 2,000 years of what church looks like in that regard. So we have a history, and we have a history of probably 50 years of youth ministry and practices to look at. But the reality is everything is still experimental because everything changes. So, I mean, look, if you look at everything from the industrial age forward, things moved really, really fast and actually continue to move faster still. So the reality of youth ministry is everything is still experimental. We're still trying things. We're trying. I think many youth pastors, myself included, want to implement something that's going to last forever. We would like the assurity that if I do this and I do it over and over and over again, that I just keep doing it that way. And I think that's because we're creatures of habit. If if this song is working, let's keep doing that song. If this game is working, let's just keep doing that game. If this lesson is working, style of lesson teaching and so forth is working, let's do that. And we are creatures of comfort. We'd like to do things that are comfortable. And I would say this, that there's nothing comfortable today about youth ministry. Youth ministry today, for me, is uncomfortable for various reasons. I have a head full of knowledge of how to do youth ministry. This body and this mind has advanced a little bit. So if you've watched this channel for 15 years, because I've been posting videos for 15 years, you can tell that though a little bit of color has changed. And so youth ministry, although it is familiar, it is uncomfortable for me. The older I get, and I think that we have to get used to being uncomfortable because age is one factor. But if you look at teachers, if you look at other people who work with teenagers in different various venues and disciplines, that teenagers, although the core things are the same, the behavior, everything else changes quite a bit. So when you're walking into a room, even from week to week, there's new language, there's new thoughts, there's new attitudes, there's a lot of things that happen new that make youth ministry uncomfortable. if you're an adult, you're like, hey, I'm coming in week to week and I'm not spending my time thinking about new lingo. I'm not thinking about how this event impacts students per se. You are, if you're seeking that out. But the reality is, we're caught up in our adult world. We're thinking about how we're paying bills. We're thinking about our family. We're thinking about, for some of us, retirement. But the reality is, youth ministry is uncomfortable and is growing increasingly uncomfortable in ways because things change so quickly. And so I would say this, that in regards to this channel, I've tried all kinds of things on this channel. I've tried doing memberships. I've tried, last September was Sharetember, where I would ask all of you to say, well, would you be willing to share a video with somebody? And a lot of you did. That was great. It wasn't, overflowing with, shares, but it was a good amount, and, you guys participated. So thank you for that. This month, I have done Streamtember. So Streamtember has been, where I go live every Tuesday and Thursday, usually around 11:30. Today I'm doing at 10:30 because I have lunch with a student who's home from college. And so if I look at this, let's put it this way. All the metrics are there. That Streamtember, in this regard, is an abject failure. It's a failure because if you look at the metrics, right? If you look at just the metrics of streaming, it's very clear that I am literally at this point, in the chat at least, talking to nobody. Now, I may be talking to some of you later because you're here and you're watching the video, so thank you for that. Appreciate you being here, once again, watching the video. But in regards to, I heard a great quote. I watched a movie the other day, and this applies, by the way, to what we're talking about. I watched a movie. It's an old movie, 1970s movie called The Sunshine Boys, about a comedic team, and starred Walter Matthau and George Burns. And this long-standing team of these guys who did vaudeville. It talks about their, cantankerous relationship and how they broke up and how they were coming back together for one big thing they were going to do. And George Burns tells Walter Matthau, that's not their character's name, but the actor, George Burns in character, tells Walter Matthau, he says, what your problem is? You always took the jokes too seriously. Right? That Walter Matthau wanted to do things a certain way. He took the jokes too seriously. He couldn't improv, maybe, right? Whereas maybe George Burns maybe wanted to do a little bit more of that. But he always took the jokes too seriously. And I think the issue is, at least here on YouTube, I have probably at times taken YouTube too seriously. I think sometimes we take youth ministry or the process of youth ministry or the learning of youth ministry too seriously. In regards to the fact is about the processes and practices and the fact, once again, it's experimental. I am not one. I don't blame a lot of things. Like if the stream is empty and there's nobody in chat when I'm streaming, there's a lot of reasons for that. I could blame the algorithm. Maybe it is. I could blame the audience because the audience doesn't want to show up, but I'm not going to do that. That's what a lot of creators do. They blame their audience. Ultimately, I have to blame myself because it's possible that the content I have is not resonating. And that's okay, right? That's part of not taking the joke too seriously. And I think we take ourselves too seriously. I can say, look, sometimes I take myself too seriously because I think what the information is that I'm giving you is top notch. I'm giving you out of 35 years worth of experience. And the reality is I have to not take the joke too seriously. I have to be willing to say, you know what? The information's there, right? And at this point, at least from a channel perspective, I just may need to just not take it too seriously. And you know what? Just experiment like I'm doing today. Like at this point, I've done 6 streams. Maybe the first one had 2 or 3, 4 people in it. But I can tell you this, based on the data, is the fact that nobody has been in these streams, right? Like even now I'm watching and one pops in and one goes away. Two pop in, two go away. I don't know if these are youth pastors. I don't know if these are just random people going by. It really doesn't matter. So in that regard, I've experimented. And the lesson I would offer to you as youth pastors is sometimes you have to experiment and say, okay, this thing we're going to try for 6 months. I'm in a coaching thing right now with a young man, and I tell him, hey, try this thing for 3 months, then evaluate. Try this thing for 3 weeks, then evaluate. Try this thing for 6 months and evaluate. Like I said, sometimes we get so caught up in saying, look, this process, this method, this thing, it's going to last forever, and it never does. But the problem is that we're the last to know that. We're the last to know that the thing we're doing is not working when we ourselves have become comfortable with it and everybody else has kind of moved on. So as far as the lesson and the connection for youth ministry is this: I have done something for an entire month. I have shown up. I have committed myself to Tuesdays and Thursdays, which I have, shown up at 11:30. One time I think I did 12:30 last week, but I've always tried to notify people when I was changing the time. So what I did for a month, I tried something for 4 months and didn't go great. Oh well, so what? Right? And I think that's kind of the attitude we need to have in youth ministry to some degree, as long as as long as everybody knows and understands that it was an experiment to start with. It wasn't like, hey, here's our new methodology. Here's our new way of doing things. And now we're going to do this forever. And so I think we have to, in regards to that, keep ourselves loose and say, you know what? Nothing lasts forever. No trend goes on forever. Right? I mean, you can't there's certain trends, obviously, you're like, can't do that every week. Right? Like the tortilla slap was hot for a while. Can you do that every week? Probably not a great idea. It's a great game. Do it for a week or two. Bring it back, right? 6 months later, you could do it again if people are asking for it, right? If they're not asking for it, maybe don't do it. So here for the channel, once again, I've done something for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is my 7th. So 7 streams, live streams, that all but one have 0 people in it. In fact, I'm going to take a screenshot here of my screen where it shows me how many people. So you'll see this later, and I may write a little commentary on it. And put this down because I think this is important. I'll probably write a little blog about it or something like that so that you know and so that other people know, look, that it's okay to experiment and not take yourself too seriously about things. And like I said, I've probably taken the channel too seriously. Oh well, you get over it, right? It is what it is. And so I'll close this out, this last 10 or 15 minutes here. I hope that what you've gained from this, that it's okay to experiment and it's okay to give up on things. It's okay to say, you know what, that didn't work in youth ministry. I have done literally thousands of things probably over 35 years that did not work. I could do a whole thing on failed youth ministry, a whole channel about it, but I'm not going to do that because it just would be, it wouldn't be fun. Some things I don't want to revisit. So my exhortation to you is this: don't take the jokes too seriously. So what if the game doesn't work? Okay, it didn't work. So what if the message didn't work? It didn't work. So what if the illustration didn't work? It didn't work. Did you learn from it? Right? Did I learn something from this process of streaming? Yeah, maybe just don't stream a whole lot, or change your time. Or I've had to do it when I've tried to be as convenient as I can. And once again, I blame nobody but me. If the content is no good, if the presentation is no good, if the marketing is no good, if the whole process is no good, that's on me. That's not on you. That's me. So I'll figure it out, or I won't. That's okay too. Maybe I don't figure it out, right? The channel as a whole has plateaued, even though I have 13,000, almost 500, 13.5 subscribers. The views, they're fine. They vary, they fluctuate. Something happens and they go up. Something else happens, they go down. But I'm not, and there are a lot of people who want to just do videos like, hey, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to make any more videos. I have no idea. Sometimes it takes me 2 weeks to come up with a video idea. Sometimes it takes me nothing. Like I've been doing, posting a lot of shorts lately from the podcast, right? There's like 100, I don't know, close to maybe 60, 60 podcast episodes, 60 episodes, maybe more of interviews that I do the shorts for. So that'll keep coming out because I still have the podcast. I'm doing that. All that to say, experimentation is okay. If something doesn't work, don't beat yourself up and say I'm the worst, right? Because I'm done with that. There was a time in a season where I would say, yeah, I must not be very good at this YouTube thing because I'm not doing very well at it, or the numbers aren't there. And it's like, so what? So what that does give me permission to do is experiment more, not less. Like, oh, don't experiment because you might, oh, well, maybe I'll hit something later on. So all that being said, this might be its own separate video. So if you're watching this and we've come to the end of this part of the video, thank you for watching. Okay, thanks for being a part today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now we move into the second half of this video, which will be me talking about meetings, which I say in the title. We talk about meetings and curriculum. So I write most of my own curriculum. And this month I have not been writing my own curriculum. I have been using a curriculum called Make Jesus Known from Pulse Evangelism. You can look that up. In fact, maybe I'll put a link. I'll put a link in the chat. And so today, like I said, I want to talk about, and I'm doing this from my book, My Youth Meeting Planner. And so if you are looking for a planner by which to use, then this would be a good planner to use. Let me see here. I think I have, oh, I know what I did. I changed it. When you change the name of a file, by the way, and you put it in your thing that you want to show, it's not going to show because that file actually no longer exists. So we have to then fix that to actually change something. But it's okay. We'll work it out. We'll work it out here. Give me just a second here, and I will fix said thing because I changed the file name, because that's what happens when you do that. So let me see. Let me go over here and look at the files. And we'll move these over to where I need them to be. Okay. Oh, maybe not. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you'll learn something new. All right. So let's see if I can do it this way. I will bring it up on. I know. See, I'm always thinking. I think the internet is the computer is competing with me. So now I'm trying to outsmart the computer here. So I will then say, okay, well, you want to do it that way? Great. We'll go over here and I will do it straight from Canva. So let's go ahead and go to Canva. And I will take you to my meeting planner. And I'll put links. All the links will be down below. And we'll put that there. So if you're interested in a meeting planner, 52 weeks of that, you can get this as an individual or a separate item. Or you can get it as a separate book, a separate resource, or you can get it as a part of my youth ministry playbook, which is filled with tons of resources. So, all right, so let me go ahead and bring this up. And we'll bring it there. And then I will go back to this and bring this up. I guess this is the good thing about nobody watching. Nobody cares whether I'm whether I'm live or not, so I don't have to be performative in that regard. So let's go ahead and move this. I will go now over to the screen, and then I will add myself in a little bubble here. There we are. Hello, everybody. Hi. This is my youth meeting planner here. So in showing you this, there's 52 of these, and I'm going to break down this past week's meeting, right? Of really how to have a good youth meeting. And like I said, we've been doing something called Pulse Evangelism. We've been doing 4 weeks of making Jesus known and equipping students to be able to share the gospel and be able to share their faith. So in doing so, we have, you can see here, the date was yesterday. Why did I put September 9th? It's not September 9th. It's September 25th. September 25th, 2025. And I put speakers, Paul and Devon, which Devon was doing I am co-teaching this with students. I give them the curriculum, I give them the lessons, I give them the small group questions, and then we tag team. They'll do a part, I do a part. And then the topic is making Jesus known, and equip students to share. The purpose is to equip students to share their faith. And then you have the core text, which is 1 Peter 3:15, which talks about if anybody should ask you the reason for your hope, right? That you give a defense of the faith by giving a reason, why do you hope? Why is this hope in you? And that is the core text. And Devon did a great job, by the way. I did fine. Devon did the great job, right? This is, to me, once again, letting students co-teach with you can be experimental, as I said before. So you just go ahead and say, okay, we're going to try this. And you know what? They do great. They do great. Okay, the students do a great job. All right, so opening ideas. And by the way, I plan this because, like I said, there's certain elements that you say opening ideas. You don't have to. You can fill that little box there with as many opening ideas as you want. But the opening ideas. Look at that. I put that twice. Sorry. It says opening ideas upstairs with adults. When really I should have put opening ideas. I could have done things like role playing, or I could have done a lot of things like that. But you're going to come up with your opening ideas. And I didn't really have any opening ideas for this particular night, so I didn't do any. It's probably why I left that there. And then you have closing ideas. Well, I did an illustration of a drowning man, okay, of a man drowning, and the fact that the man didn't believe that I actually had a tool, a resource to save him. And I was talking about people who are intellectually disagreeable with the gospel, or don't believe in God. And it's like a drowning man who doesn't believe that that you actually have a life-saving device that will help him. And you're throwing it out to him. He's going, well, I don't believe you have that. Glug, 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 and he's drowning. It sounds foolish, but that's the reality of it. He just doesn't, the intellectual unbeliever doesn't believe that I have a life-saving device that will, and as ridiculous as that would sound, in the physical sense that a man drowning says, I'm not grabbing onto that because it doesn't exist, is the same way I told students, said, well, look, somebody who's intellectually says there is no God, well, they're the same way. I just don't believe there's any, number one, there's no mechanism, there's no thing that's going to save me because I don't need saving. I'm not drowning. So a drowning man who just says I'm not drowning, does not believe in a life-saving device, will continue to drown. That's how it works, right? So that was my closing illustration. And I think you start with your closer first. I think, I was thinking about this. So, okay, where am I going with this meeting? Where do I want to lead the meeting? Where do I want the closer? That's my closer. I said, okay, so everything's going to lead up to this point. Worship is upstairs with our adults. Announcements. Baptism in 2 weeks. Excited about that. Then I have media. So I have to have gospel cards ready, and I don't have any with me because I gave them all out. But if you look at the video that I did on 3 free evangelism tools, there's these gospel cards from Dare to Share. You can find those in the video that I did. I think it's just called 3 free. Yeah, 3 free. I'll put the link down below. 3 free evangelism tools every youth group needs, I think it's called. The video is called. And then you have media. Once again, make sure video and slides are ready. That's my job. I said I have to make sure those are ready, that the video is going to work, that it's not lagging, that it's downloaded, that the slides are there, all that stuff. So I have to make sure of that. Then what's the wow factor? And I think every youth group, every youth meeting needs a wow factor. Well, what's your wow factor for the night? Well, the wow factor might be your altar call, how you do your altar call. Your wow factor might be the illustration, right? In this case, the wow factor might be the game. But in this case, the wow factor is the co-teaching. Students co-teaching, that to me is the wow factor, because peers are talking to their peers. That's the important part, right? So then we come to the second half, and these are 2-page deals. Students involved. So I have Devon who's going to co-teach, and then I have Dawson who's going to announce Bible quiz. So we're doing Bible quiz for the month. We're going to divide up in teams, and we're going to do an actual quiz, clickers, buzzers, buzzing in, answering questions, and we're going to do trophies. It's just a different take on how we're going to do Christmas. It's just going to be fun for us. I have a smaller group, so it's going to work for us. And the adult leaders, right? What are their roles and responsibilities? I don't have any adult leaders besides myself. Technically Dawson's kind of age, so, he might get some more adult responsibilities. We'll see. That's good for him. And then I talk about the 3 P's, which is prayer, people, process. What am I praying for? Well, I'm praying for Devon. I am praying for the students to receive what he has and maybe what I would add to that, what they would receive from the Word. I'm praying for to engage students in discussion, which has more to do with the process. So the prayer is praying for Devon, and praying for students, which is kind of the people. And then engage in discussion, deals with the process. I'm praying for, have the gospel cards ready, right? This whole thing, praying that all these dynamics and all these pieces fit together. And then, of course, the meeting evaluation. So I evaluated the meeting and said, okay, students, running late. That's okay. That wasn't their fault. Somebody else was driving. So we didn't start late. We started on time. Just kids were arriving later, which is okay. But that's a note to self. It's not a mark. It's just a note to self. This night they were running late. So did we finish late? I don't think we did. Students did a good job of co-teaching. So Devon knocked out of the park, did a great job. And then discussion was great. And you can see as my spelling and all that is absolutely terrible. And my typos, I didn't go back and review this. So, but I think that's, if you're talking about, curriculum, if you're talking about your meeting, your youth meeting, I think there are ways to do it. Once again, experimental, right? You're trying new things. You're trying to, and I don't try new things without asking students or getting them to participate. I don't get in my little lab and figure out stuff and then go, oh, I'm not going to tell them, I'm just going to try it. No. I check those processes with adults. I check those processes with students. And then, okay, we can launch this thing. We can try something. We've never done Christmas Bible quiz. We're trying it. We'll see what happens. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. We'll try it out. But anyway, those are the things there. If you're interested in that, there'll be links down below. And we'll get rid of my little doppelganger right there. And so, But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today. Like I said, I think I have one more left. I'm interested in your comments based on the earlier portion of this video. What do you think about experimentation? What do you think about trying and failing? What do you think about, if you're a subscriber to the channel here, what do you think about me that live streamed, right? And 7 out of the 8 times, or 6 right now, 6 out of the 6 out of the 7 times I've already streamed were basically failures based on the metrics. The outcome is, I get to produce more videos. The outcome is fine, right? The video's there. It lives on. But of course, I'm interested in your information. If you're a subscriber to this channel, you get this information. You're welcome to chime in on, well, Paul, maybe you did the wrong time. It's fine. You can share whatever you'd like about it. You could say, Paul, this information is no longer relative to me for some reason. So I'm interested in your feedback. You're welcome to share with me down in the comments. But that's it, guys. Thank you for joining me today. Thanks for being a part of the live streams. For those that are watching post, Once again, be sure to go and click the thumbs up button. It tells me you like the video and want more of them. And your suggestions are always, and feedback is always welcome. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being a part. And I'll see you guys in another video later. We'll talk to you later. Bye.